Feels like it took forever to figure out what I was going to decide on for history for next year, but I finally decided on it, and I'm very, very excited for what next year holds. My name is Lauren. I'm a homeschooling mom to 3 girls, soon to be 4 girls. We are expecting little girl number 4 this summer. So by the start of next school year, we'll be having 4 girls. One will be in 6th grade, 4th grade, and in 2nd grade. Those are the 3 that I will be homeschooling. So just a brief little chatty fill in of where we were in kind of my process of thinking. And I don't know, I like to hear when people like explain kind of where they were thinking and how they came to that conclusion. So that's why I'm going to share it with you. So hopefully you don't mind a little bit of chatty. If not, just skip forward ahead in the video. So this upcoming year will be our 6th year of homeschooling. And so we did 1 official year of like real history, American history. And then the past 2 years, we've been doing more of like a cultural, social studies, geography with beautiful feet books around the world with picture books. I have videos on both years of that if you want to check those out. We really loved it. And so, but I know I needed to go back to, American history or world history. And so I knew I wanted to do American history, but I just couldn't find, I wanted to do it again, like I said, as a group. And so kind of something that was going to fit my 2nd grader and my 6th grader. My 6th grader is actually going to be doing something in addition to what we're doing. So hang tight towards the end of the video if you want to see what she will be doing that's just for her. So I put a video out a few months ago talking about like what I was contemplating for history. And you guys gave me so many suggestions, and I literally looked up every single one, and there was a lot of really good gems in there. And I've actually filed a few away to consider for the future. But ultimately I decided to do American history, beautiful feet books, early American history. It says for primary grades. I believe on their website it says for kindergarten to 3rd grade, somewhere in that range. But I will say, after looking at the books and receiving them and going through them, it's definitely not like kindergarten-y light topics where it's like, it's not made specifically, I wouldn't say it's babyish, like for kindergarten's like a cute little intro to history. It definitely has some heavy topics in it. And so I think this will be fine for my 2nd grader, my 4th grader, even my 6th grader will participate in this. So don't let the, oh, my child is in 4th grade, they're too old for this. I wouldn't necessarily say that. Maybe if they're in like 10th or 11th grade, okay, probably this is not the best fit for them. But if they're in that age range, especially if you have one that's a little bit older, I think this would be a good time to start. So again, this is early American history, and it is with picture books. And so what I wanted to do, my plan originally was do American history and then do a world history with it. So kind of like what was happening in conjunction, like, during the 1600s, which was the colonial era of America, what was going on in other parts of the world, like kind of what was happening simultaneously. Because I don't know about you, but I only studied world history and then 1 year of American history and then back and forth. And I feel like the story wasn't very cohesive. It was, we would study, ancient Greece, and then we'd study ancient China, and it was just kind of these segmented stories. But I would like it to be like woven together, so we have a good, clear understanding of just generally main things that were happening in the world at a given time frame. I wanted to do a world history. I did come across, this took forever, you guys. I looked up so many like history curriculums. This year was just like so much. I feel like I did more research this year. Anyway, I came across, this is World Stories. This is the modern age, and this is Explorers through Present Day. This is from Master Books. So this is technically for grades 6 to 8. I did forget to mention this early American history. This is from like the Vikings to the Civil War. So it covers the first half of American history. So I was going to just do half of this book this year, from the explorers till Civil War and then do the second half next year so that we could get a really good picture of, again, world history with American history. But when I got it, it does look great. It does. And I would consider using it for future use. But when I got it, I was like, I think this is going to be over the head of my second grader for sure. And my fourth grader would be, she could handle it, but I don't know how well it will keep her attention. So again, this is for grade 6 to 8. So I was like, oh, kind of put that one on the back burner. I was just like, it didn't like fit exactly what I wanted to do. So I came across Biblioplan. Their history is divided into 4 years, and they have, I think it's their third year. It would be covering the time frames that we would be covering in our American history. And the textbook looks amazing. Like, they have different components to it, but I was just going to get the textbook portion of it. And that looked so good. It was in my cart ready to go. But then this arrived in the mail. And when I opened it and looked through all the books and looked at the teacher guide and really like what it all included, I got really, really, really excited, because this not only comes with the books that, again, I'll show you in just a minute. It comes with rabbit trails. And so they offer extra books that you can get on top of this to read, to kind of flesh it out a little bit. I mean, it's totally fine by itself, of course, but if you want to just add a little bit more, read a few more stories in history, they have that. And I got really excited. And then it was like, oh, it was such a hard decision. But I ultimately decided, you know what, as much as I would love to do American history and world history, and I still want to do that someday, I figured let's just kind of lay a good foundation and let them get a really good, clear picture of what American history is right now. And then going forward in the future, if we want to do that where we study them simultaneously, then we can do that when they have that kind of like a good understanding. Again, we've done history a few years ago, so they do have basic understanding, but I just wanted to give them like a really good solid foundation in that. So we're going to do just American history this year, but let me know in the comments if there is a curriculum that you know of that studies both together, so that way I can keep that in mind for the future, because I really, really think that that would be awesome to study world events together. So I'm going to flip the camera around. Like I said, we're going to look inside Beautiful Feet Books and Early American History, kind of what the teacher guide looks like and all of that. And then at the end, stay tuned towards the end, because I'm going to share what my oldest daughter is going to be using as well. So everything, all of these books is what it's going to be coming with. I'll show you all that in just a second. These are books that I'm going to add on. These are recommended rabbit trails, which I'll show you in just a second. I just happen to have those books. And then these books are books I am considering adding, but I don't know if I will. I probably won't, but I'll just show those anyway in case you want to cater it to a younger crowd and want to add in more. I'll show you an idea for that as well if your kids are a little bit younger. So this comes with, oh my gosh, so many books. It's like, oh, I can't believe it. I'll just start here. So these are the Dallaire books. These are like really highly sought after, hard to come by. So we have Columbus here, Abraham Lincoln, Buffalo Bill, Pocahontas, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and Leif the Lucky. Then they also have, these will obviously spread out throughout the year. This will be the first one, and then Buffalo Bill will be at the end of the year. So you're going to read these kind of throughout the year. Then we have Sacagawea, a picture book of Sacagawea. Okay, we have A More Perfect Union. This is a Maestro book. These books are really good too. I have several of them. I hunted down a few years ago and they're on my shelf. So I actually have this. I think I have like 3 copies of this now. But this is just going to give the story of the Constitution in picture book form. I tried to read it a few years ago to my girls and they were just a little bit too young for this. So like I said, even though this is for technically kindergarten, this is age appropriate for higher grades. Then you have Crossing Bakchito. So to get an idea for that. Then we have it, Dear Benjamin Banneker. The story of his life. These picture books are just so lovely, so beautiful. I can't wait to get into them. Let me show you kind of like what it looks like inside for these as well. These are going to take a couple days to read, and so they break up the reading, so you're not just reading, 80 pages. Even though they're picture books, you tend to think, well, that doesn't take very long, but there's a good amount of text on each of these, and so they break it up into several lessons. Here's Abraham Lincoln, just to kind of give you an idea. We've read this one. It was really good. I haven't read any of the other ones of this series, but people rave about them, and so they really enjoy them. So that's going to be what these books are going to look like. Some black and white pictures, some colorful pictures, but I've only ever heard good things about these Dallaire books. So we're excited to get into that. And then we have the 4th of July story. I'm just going to do a quick flip through of all these just so you can, I don't know, I really love seeing inside the picture books. That's like one of my favorite things to see. It's fine to see the cover, but seeing the inside. So this is Phoebe the Spy. She helped George Washington during the Revolutionary War. She was a girl who helped George Washington. Squanto's journey. Then it comes with a notebook. If you have more than one child, you can order these individually, or you can just get a notebook, but this one's really pretty. And then the teacher guide, which I'll show you in just a second. We have V. Hannah. So although this is a picture book, it's still a little bit thicker. It's got 100 pages. So again, they'll be broken up, and there's quite a bit of substance in these books as well. You can see they're not these are a little bit more, I don't know if you want to use the word cutesy and cartoony, and I'll show you those in a bit, but these books have substance to them. So don't let the grade and the fact that it's picture books, make you think that there's not content to it as well. So this is Encounter. This is Moses. Can't wait to read this one. This is a beautiful book. All right, and then we have The Winter at Valley Forge. This is all black and white. Jamestown. And then these are the Discovery of the Americas. This is one of those Maestro books as well. Betsy and Julio Maestro. So they pack a lot of information. They're beautifully, really pretty pictures. So they will cut this one. Most of them, unless they're pretty short, most of these books you're breaking up over several days. Or if you want to combine lessons and your kids don't mind reading a little bit longer, you can absolutely combine 2 lessons into one and do more of a longer reading session. So these are the 3 chapter books. So The Courage of Sarah Noble, it's still pretty short. I think it's 80 pages. Yeah, it's 50 or 60 pages, but it's technically a chapter book. It still has pictures in it. So I'm excited. I've heard good things about this one. Pilgrim Stories. There's no pictures in here. It's just a chapter book. And then The Year of the Horseless Carriage. Same thing. So there's a few sparse, a few pictures thrown in here and there, but mostly chapter books. So that is what this is going to come with. And again, I'll get back to this in just a second. These are some add-ons that I might, this is Then What Happened, Paul Revere. I really want to read this one. Frederick Douglass Fights for Freedom. Just a Few Words, Mr. Lincoln, The Story of the Gettysburg Address. We've read this one a few years ago. We actually read both of these a few years ago, but this one was really good. So I want to read that one again. And then this one, this was a recommendation from the book, and I'll show you in just a second. This one is Many Thousands Gone, African Americans from Slavery to Freedom. So I'll show you, actually, let me pause that. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, and then I'll come back to this book. All right, so let's get into the early American history. So I'm going to put my tripod on so I can use both hands. Okay, so hopefully you don't mind a few books on either side, on either side of this. So we have early American history, and it's going to be broken down into the Vikings. It's going to have rabbit trails, study notes, and a historic table. So that's going to be like a recipe. And each section is going to be laid out the exact same way. So the indigenous peoples of North America, Golden Age of Discovery, the colonies, the Revolutionary War, the young United States, and the Civil War. And then a rabbit trails comprehensive list. So if you want to get a list of all the extra books that they recommend, how to use this guide. These are all the pictures that are the books that come with it. The Vikings. So they give like a little intro to the Vikings. And then the rabbit trail. So these are the books that they recommend that you, they recommend doing. And then sometimes they give online resources. So they'll say, go on this website to learn more, to see pictures of this, or they give us a few YouTube videos. So it's not just what you're seeing here. There's so much more content that they recommend that you can do or don't have to do. I'm going to do probably a good amount of it. We're not actually going to add these ones, but I'm going to get something very similar. So they always have like pictures and a map. And then here would be lesson 1. I'm going to go more towards the middle because I think you can see these samples online. So, but basically you're reading, page 12 to 19 of Leaf the Lucky. And this is a Christian curriculum. It's not like every single lesson goes back to the Bible, but they do weave it in throughout their lessons. So we are going to spend a little bit of time on Leaf the Lucky. Not too much. There's other parts of history that I want to focus more on and take our time with more on. So this is the historic table. They give you pictures and recipes of just like something common that they would have had during that time period. The indigenous peoples of North America. So the legend of the Indian paintbrush and the legend of Blue Bonnet. I have those here. So I just happen to have these here. So we'll read these to go along with it. And then I'll probably check some of these out from the library. And then again, just some different resources that you can add to this. They also have a picture packet that you can look on. It's a free download. You don't even have to get this. You can download the picture packet on their website and it'll correspond with this and it'll tell you exactly when to use it. So what I'm liking about this so far is that, so like the Golden Age of Discovery. So they don't just spend like, okay, now we're going to talk about the indigenous people and then that's it. We don't talk about them again. They try to incorporate it throughout all of the time periods that they're going to be studying, as well as Black history and Black stories as well. So they're not just going to be, okay, it's the Civil War, let's talk about slavery and things like that. They're going to show that from the colonial time on forward so that you can get a picture of not just what it was like for, pioneers and pilgrims. You kind of get a complete picture of what it looked like from all aspects. So as you can see, the lessons are not too long. So like lesson 11, read pages 10 to 17 of Columbus. So that would be this one here. And then it gives you questions and it gives you the answers so that you can just have discussion with your children. And then from the picture packet, have your student paste the picture into the notebook. And that's that picture packet I was telling you about. Then lesson 12, read page 18 to 23 of Columbus. And then ask some questions from the picture packet. And then this one is have your student make their own model of the Spanish ships. We probably will honestly skip that because my children don't love that type of hands-on. But it does give pictures throughout. It does give a lot of talking points and questions and comprehension. And it's not just like, okay, what date was this? What date was that? Who discovered this? It asks questions and makes your child think to make sure, A, they're paying attention. And it asks them to kind of think and picture themselves there and what they would think if they were there. And I really like that those are the type of questions that they ask. Here's the colonies. So here's Many Thousands Gone. So this is this book that I just checked it out from the library just to see. I think I'm probably going to just buy it. So this is talking about slavery from like the colonial period. So it's not just, like I said, okay, now we're not going to discuss it at all. And then all of a sudden during the Civil War, because, you know, there's a lot of history books that they don't touch on it until they talk about the Civil War. This is talking about what it looked like from the 1600s. So it's broken down into part 1, slavery in America, part 2, running aways, and part 3, Exodus to Freedom. So I'm going to actually break this down as well. And we're going to read it all throughout the year, depending on what section we're on. So these are kind of what the lessons look like. Read page 113 to 121 of Pilgrim Stories, some more questions. Compare the Pilgrims' motivation for coming to America to that of the Jamestown settlers. So that would be, so you can definitely do 2 lessons a day or just do 1 lesson. There's 94 lessons in here, I believe. Yes, 94 lessons. So if you did this, you could do this. You could do, sorry, my alarm went off. You could do this 2-3 times a week. We're going to do this probably daily just because I want to add in all the extra reading. Now we're at the Young United States. So it's going to, for these rabbit trails, again, these are not books that come with it, but you can just add if you want. And it gives you a little bit of a little blurb about what it's about. So that way, in case you're, you know, you don't just, what is this about? The boy who drew birds, right? So it gives you information so you can kind of see. This one looks really good though. This is called The Daring Escape. The brief tale is inspiring story of Ellen Craft, a light-skinned slave who poses as a white man to escape slavery. So I think that one is really interesting just to get different perspectives and stories that you haven't heard before. They're going to have Henner's Lydia, and 2 of these are from, and Yoni Wanderhorse. These are like, one is a Quaker and one, or a Mennonite, and the other one is an Amish boy around this time. So again, just different perspectives. So Tall Within, this is of Sojourner Truth. So hopefully you can get a good idea of the different types of picture books they're offering or suggesting, and just kind of what it's going to look like. So that is going to be that. It's going to end with the Civil War, start a little bit with westward expansion, but not too much. It's going to hang up on the Civil War. So I personally am going to take some of the chapter books recommended from Bookshark and Sunlight, and I'll show that in a separate video of how I plan to do that and how I plan to break all of this down. And so, if you have younger ones and you're like, you don't want to add a whole lot, but you still want them to have some of these extension, some extra. So I would just purchase, several of these at a time on eBay. So like Benjamin Franklin and His First Kite. These are definitely more for like a younger crowd, bigger words, definitely just more for a younger kids. So you can just add those if you'd like, something like that. It's just an idea. Here's some of these David Adler books. These were pretty good. It just kind of gives an overview. And we did these a few years ago when my girls were all littler, and we all enjoyed these. So that's just an idea if you kind of want to add more, but you don't want to add a lot of heavier books than this. You just want to add something a little bit on the younger side. That is something that you could consider. I don't know about you, but when I am researching curriculum and looking up YouTube videos, I look up all the YouTube videos I can find, and I just really love seeing a really good picture inside, inside the teacher guides and the books it comes with, to just get a really good idea. So hopefully you found that to be helpful. Now I want to pull out my 6th grader. If you saw my curriculum pick videos for my 6th grader, then you've already seen this, but I just want to say that she had requested on her own. She studied world history this year on her own independently with Abeka She would read the chapter. We would go over the chapter. I'd ask her the comprehension questions. I would make her a study guide, and then she would take the tests that Abeka provides. So that's kind of how we did it. So she asked me if she could do the same thing this year. So she's doing the 6th grade version of their history. This is a New World History and Geography. So again, this is going to be studying all of the Western Hemisphere, both North and South America. And again, it has like map and activities and quizzes that you can do and tests. And they're all separate. So if your child is like, if you'd be interested in this, but you don't really want to give them tests or quizzes, you just want them to do the map and activities, you can do that. We ended up getting, she didn't want that. She was just like, no, I just want to read the book and do the test. So I have the tests here and then the test key, just to make it easier on my life. I didn't get a key this past year, so I mean, it's fine. I can figure out the answers, but it just makes things a little bit easier. I'm trying to streamline and make things not as complicated as I possibly can get them. So she'll be doing that independently. And again, we'll do it the same format. She'll read it. She actually takes it upon herself to like divide up the sections. She really loves that. Typical firstborn, like, all right, I've got to read these pages today. And so when she's finished, again, we review the chapter. I give her the study guide that I've typed up based on the test, and then she will take the test. So that is what she will be doing. She will join in on our American history as well, just because I do want her to participate in that, just to get kind of more living literature books, that type of thing, to get it from like a different, instead of traditional history. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, and literature based. That's what I'm trying to get at. Whew. Okay. So anyway, that is our history. I am so excited for next year. Like, I really am tempted to just dive in and read the books myself now, but I'm waiting. I'm holding back and waiting. And me and the girls will do it together. And I think it'll be a really great year. I am so excited. And again, make sure that if you want to order, you use my discount code to get free shipping on any order. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, I would love if you would give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more homeschool content just like this. I pray that you have a blessed day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.